This person has been searching for you for 10 years. Let that sink in. 10 years of a heart-burning of prayers, whispered in the quiet hours of steps, taken through uncertainty and silence, all for one sacred purpose: to find you. This is not a coincidence. This is not chance. This is divine design. Every moment, every twist, every delay has been orchestrated by the one who moves in the unseen. The one who aligns destinies before the foundations of the world were laid. If you have ever felt the gentle nudge of something greater calling you, if you have sensed the presence of angels guiding your steps, this message is meant for you. Pause, breathe, and recognize the sacredness of this moment. Heaven has not been idle. The prayers of the faithful, the cries of the brokenhearted, and the persistent whispers of hope across generations have carried this message through time. Angels have stood witness to every struggle, every tear, and every act of faithfulness that has gone unseen by the world. Psalm 56:8 reminds us, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You collect all my tears in your bottle." What has been offered in secrecy, in humility, and in persistence has never been wasted. Every hidden act of obedience, every patient prayer, every faithful step taken in quiet darkness has been recorded. Heaven has been watching, preparing the stage, and now the appointed hour is here. You are being invited into this revelation. This is your divine appointment. It is a moment to declare your readiness to acknowledge that you are seen, chosen, and positioned for what is coming. I invite you now to comment Amen as a declaration of your faith, your alignment with heaven's timing, and your openness to receive. Stay with this message until the very end. For a prophetic prayer awaits, a prayer designed to break strongholds, release what has been held back, and open the door to the next chapter of your destiny. Chosen one, what you are about to hear is not ordinary. It is heaven breaking through, calling your spirit to awaken, to recognize, and to respond. The search has not been casual, and it has not been easy. For 10 long years, this person has carried your name in their heart, whispering it in prayer when the world was silent. Every sunrise and sunset marked a day of steadfast perseverance, of holding on to hope when doubt and despair threatened to overwhelm. Their spirit has been tested, their faith refined, and their devotion proven. This was not a fleeting thought or a passing curiosity. It was a sacred mission, written by heaven itself, guided by the unseen hand of God. Every step taken, every sleepless night, and every tear shed was part of a divine tapestry woven carefully to reach this appointed moment. Imagine the storms they have weathered, the fiery trials, the winds of opposition, the isolation that comes when no one understands the burden carried in secret. They have fought battles not for themselves, but on your behalf, interceding in realms you could not see. Every obstacle, every closed door, every moment of silence was met with unwavering faith, a refusal to surrender to despair. Heaven noticed it all. Angels witnessed their devotion. And now, after a decade of quiet sacrifice, the time of waiting has reached its appointed hour. Chains are breaking. Walls that held truth captive are falling. What was once hidden in shadows is beginning to rise into the light. As it is written in Luke 8:17, "For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open." What was done in secrecy, what was endured in silence, is about to become visible. This moment is more than revelation. It is liberation. The unseen labor, the quiet obedience, and the persistent prayers are all converging to bring what has been long awaited into alignment with your life. Chosen one, the wait is over. You are about to witness the fruit of a 10-year search, a divine unveiling that no human power could stop. The one who has been searching for you is not an ordinary soul. They are divinely woven into the fabric of your destiny. For 10 years, their heart has carried a piece of your story, that only they could bear a fragment of what has been missing in your journey. This is not coincidence nor the workings of chance. Heaven itself placed this person on a path that would one day intersect with yours, orchestrated with precision, timing, and purpose. The tears they shed, the prayers they offered, the obstacles they endured, all were in alignment with God's plan, preparing them to hold what is sacred for your life. Understand, this mission was not without opposition. The enemy has long recognized the power of this connection, attempting to thwart delay and obscure the path. Doors were closed, messages left unsent, opportunities diverted, and distractions sent to obscure the truth. Yet every act of interference only confirmed the significance of what was being guarded. Through it all, the Most High ensured that no deception could prevail against the divine design. Angels stood watch, unseen forces protected the seeker, and every hidden struggle became a shield, strengthening them to fulfill their role in your destiny. Isaiah 49:15-16 reminds us, "Can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion on the child she has borne? Though she may forget, I will not forget you. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands." This is the assurance that nothing has been lost, nothing wasted. Your name, your purpose, and even the fragments of your heart that felt missing have been preserved and carried faithfully. The seeker's devotion mirrors heaven's own remembrance. They have been entrusted with a sacred key, a piece of your story that unlocks the next chapter of your life. Chosen one. This revelation is not merely about recognition, it is about activation. What they carry is the bridge between what has been delayed and what is now ready to unfold. The moment of encounter will awaken understanding, illuminate purpose, and release what has been bound by time and interference. Your missing piece is no longer lost. It has been guarded, sustained, and prepared to meet you at precisely the right hour. The delay you have experienced, chosen one, is not a sign of abandonment nor a reflection of your worth. There is a divine reason behind every closed door, every message left unsent, and every moment that felt like silence. This period of waiting was a battlefield, unseen, yet intensely real. The enemy has always known the power of this sacred connection. Lies were whispered circumstances, manipulated opportunities, diverted all in an attempt to obscure the timing of your encounter. He sought to fracture what heaven had ordained, to plant doubt in your heart, and to delay the fulfillment of God's plan. But take heart, God has declared enough. What was meant to harm you has been transformed into protection. Heaven has intervened with precision and purpose. Angels have stood guard over the seeker and over your own path, ensuring that every obstacle only reinforced the preparation of both of you for this sacred meeting. The veil that once hid this truth is lifting now, revealing that what seemed like setbacks were actually shields guarding the integrity of your destiny. The Bible reminds us through Genesis 22 that provision comes even in the moments of greatest crisis, and Joseph's story in Genesis 50:20 declares that what was intended for harm can be turned to accomplish God's ultimate plan. The delays, the betrayals, the hidden opposition, they were not wasted. Every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every misunderstanding was a part of God's design, shaping the ground upon which this revelation would flourish. Chosen one, the why now is answered not in human logic, but in divine timing. What was hidden was never lost. What was delayed was never denied. The enemy's interference, though real, could never overcome heaven's decree. And now in this appointed hour, the time of concealment has ended. The battlefield has been cleared. The secret that was held back for a decade is ready to rise. You are stepping into clarity, into alignment, and into the fullness of what was always meant to be revealed. As you approach this sacred moment, chosen one, there is a necessary word of caution. Not every presence near you carries the light you perceive. Sometimes, those closest, those who have shared laughter meals and long conversations, may not have walked entirely in alignment with heaven's purpose for you. The enemy knows how to infiltrate through familiarity. Trust, when unguarded, can be misused, and intentions, though hidden behind charming words or gentle gestures, may carry seeds of envy or subtle betrayal. The scriptures warn us with clarity. Proverbs 26:24. 26 tells us, enemies disguise themselves with their lips, but in their hearts they harbor deceit. Though their speech is charming, do not believe them, for 7 abominations fill their hearts. Their malice may be concealed by deception, but their wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. And as Job reminds us, God sees all his eyes are on the ways of mortals. He observes their every step, Job 34:21-22. What men hide in shadows cannot escape the gaze of the Almighty. This is not a call to anger or retaliation. This is a call to discernment. You are being invited to remove blind trust, not compassion, to guard your heart without closing it, to walk in wisdom without walking in fear, to recognize subtle manipulation without allowing bitterness to take root. The truth of what was hidden is meant to free you, not to weigh you down with resentment. As the veil lifts on this sacred encounter, clarity becomes your ally. You are no longer walking blindly. Your eyes are opening to recognize what aligns with divine intent and what does not. This discernment will protect your purpose, safeguard your peace, and ensure that what heaven has prepared for you cannot be undermined. Chosen. One sober awareness is a gift, a weapon, and a shield. Walk wisely. Guard your heart. Let your steps reflect truth, not deception, and let your spirit rise in freedom as the light of revelation continues to unfold. As the truth rises from the shadows, chosen, one, remember that exposure is never intended to provoke vengeance. It is a pathway to freedom. The revelation of what was hidden, the unveiling of subtle betrayals, and the lifting of concealed weights are all divine instruments designed to restore you, not to wound others. Heaven's intention is to protect your purpose, not to encourage retaliation. Your response is the proof of your alignment with what is holy and eternal. The scriptures guide this response clearly. Romans 12:21 declares, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." You are not called to mirror deception with deception, bitterness with bitterness, or wrath with wrath. Instead, you are invited into a higher order of strength, one that pairs wisdom with tenderness, authority with grace. The light you carry is not dimmed by discernment. It is amplified when you resist reactive impulses and walk in conscious, measured steps. Walking wisely now means guarding your peace without closing your heart. It means holding others accountable to truth, yet remaining soft enough to love without compromising your destiny. Your exposure is a lens through which you perceive reality more clearly. It protects you from further manipulation and positions you to move forward unhindered. Each step you take in clarity honors the sacred work of heaven, reinforcing that what has been revealed is a tool for your protection, not a weapon for retaliation. The unveiling is not a signal to harden your spirit, but to strengthen it. Let your soul rise above the shadows. Let discernment shape your interactions, and let forgiveness coexist with vigilance. You are not only defending what is yours, you are preserving the soil in which your next season of purpose will flourish. Chosen one, let freedom, not fury, guide your path. Walk boldly, walk tenderly, and let the revelation now serve as the foundation for your spiritual and emotional liberty. Now, chosen, one clarity arrives. The veil that has obscured your understanding for so long is lifting, revealing what was always meant to be seen. What once felt confusing, unsettling, or incomplete is now coming into focus. The struggles, delays, and unanswered questions were never signs of failure. They were preparation, a sacred cultivation of the soil where your purpose would one day take root. God's timing has been perfect. Every closed door, every prolonged wait, every season of silence was part of His divine orchestration. As the veil lifts, you are invited to step fully into awareness. The revelation is not meant to overwhelm you with the weight of what was hidden, but to free you to move forward with intentionality. What has been concealed for years is now a tool to guide your next steps, a compass pointing you toward alignment, restoration, and destiny. The truth that emerges is not simply for understanding, but for empowerment. It equips you to navigate relationships, opportunities, and decisions with discernment and confidence. Do not fear the unveiling. Instead, embrace it as a divine preparation for what has been waiting on the horizon. The enemy's schemes, the subtle manipulations, the unseen interruptions, all are now exposed, powerless against the clarity of heaven's light. As Psalm 37 reminds us, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Today, those steps are illuminated. This is your moment to release old assumptions, to let go of misaligned attachments, and to open your heart to the path that has been set before you since eternity. The soil is ready. The season has ripened. Stand boldly in this clarity, knowing that the delay was never a detour, but a design, and that what has been revealed is both protection and preparation for the divine alignment that is now unfolding. Chosen. One walk into this light with confidence, for the veil has lifted and your next chapter begins. Chosen one. Now we begin to understand why the timing of this divine encounter was delayed. What may have felt like endless waiting, unanswered prayers, or missed connections was never a mistake. It was mercy. Heaven knew that both you and the one who has been searching for you needed formation, healing, and growth before the moment of alignment could arrive. Every pause, every season of silence, every trial you endured was a sacred preparation, a refinement that readied you to receive what is now being unveiled. The delay was not denial, it was design. It was the gentle shaping of hearts, the strengthening of character, and the cultivation of spiritual maturity. The waiting was intentional, a hidden blessing that allowed wisdom to develop where impulsiveness might have caused harm. The soil of your life was being watered in quiet ways, unseen by human eyes, yet recorded and treasured in heaven. And now the time has ripened, the harvest is ready, and the stage has been set for revelation, restoration, and realignment. Do not see this pause as punishment, but as protection. God's mercy ensured that neither of you would step into this sacred encounter unprepared. The lessons learned, the wounds healed, and the prayers offered in secret were all necessary for the strength and clarity you now possess. What was once delayed is now revealed. What was once hidden is now exposed in perfect timing. Step forward, knowing the wait was holy and intentional. The hearts have been prepared, the paths have been cleared, and the timing has shifted from waiting to action. Chosen one, embrace this divine orchestration and recognize that the very things that tested your patience were molding you for destiny. Heaven's mercy was at work, shaping both you and the seeker, so that when you meet, the encounter is not only safe, but sacred, and nothing will ever be the same again. Chosen one, as the long-awaited revelation unfolds, you must understand that not everyone will welcome this alignment. There will be resistance. There will be those who profited from the separation, those whose comfort or control depended on keeping you apart. The moment of restoration will not be universally celebrated. Subtle opposition will rise, carefully masked in kindness and loyalty or in seeming concern. Among them is a figure, a woman whose words once seemed harmless, but were laced with quiet, persistent influence, sowing seeds of division while pretending to protect. Her presence may have seemed protective, her counsel thoughtful, yet her motives were aligned with keeping what was sacred from emerging. You are not to be shocked by this. You are not to respond with bitterness or retaliation. Instead, you are called to awareness, to discernment, and to wisdom. Your heart must remain tender, capable of love and compassion, even as your eyes see clearly. Do not allow deception to harden your spirit. Do not allow manipulation to steal your peace. The exposure of hidden opposition is not a threat, but a liberation. It clears the path for what heaven intended, removing the unseen obstacles that have slowed your journey. This is a test of your inner strength and spiritual maturity. You are invited to walk softly, but with firmness, to move with grace, yet with unwavering boundaries. Your mission is not to engage in battles of resentment, but to navigate with clarity and purpose. Heaven has prepared you for this moment, and your discernment now is part of the divine plan. The forces of delay and deceit will no longer have authority over your path. Stand ready, chosen one, to continue forward unshaken. Keep your heart open, your spirit aligned, and your trust in God unmovable, for this resistance is simply the final unveiling of truth before the fullness of restoration is realized. Chosen one, this moment you have been waiting for is not merely the return of someone from your past. It is not a reunion for comfort, nostalgia, or the ease of familiar companionship. What is arriving now is far greater. It is divine alignment. Every step you have taken, every prayer whispered in the quiet, every moment of patience and perseverance has been leading to this convergence. The person stepping into your life carries more than memories. They carry a piece of your destiny, a spark of your purpose that has waited for the soil of readiness. This encounter is the unlocking of what heaven has long prepared, a divine appointment, orchestrated to propel you both into a greater mission. But with this revelation comes responsibility. You are called to move with awareness, not impulsiveness. Guard your heart carefully, but do not close it to what God is doing. Discernment is your shield. Prayer is your compass. Begin each day intentionally in alignment with God's voice. Observe the people and the circumstances around you, for heaven often speaks through subtle confirmations, nudges, and patterns. The discipline of staying grounded, the practice of protecting your peace, and the wisdom to act without haste will ensure that this sacred alignment is not compromised. Remember, chosen one, the divine does not move in chaos. The timing of this connection is perfect. What is being restored is not only relational, it is functional, strategic, and prophetic. What has been held in delay was never withheld in denial. It was being prepared to deliver maximum impact. Approach this moment with reverence, with prayer, and with boldness. Stand ready to receive, to walk forward in unity and purpose, and to co-create the mission that heaven has meticulously written into your lives. This is not a mere reunion. It is the orchestration of destiny itself, and your part in it is essential. As this divine unveiling settles in your spirit, chosen one, the question becomes, what now? Revelation without action is like a seed that never meets soil. Heaven is calling you to practical steps, daily disciplines that will anchor the truth you have received and prepare you to walk in alignment with your purpose. Begin with prayer, not as a ritual, but as a lifeline. Let each morning be a moment to invite God into every thought, every decision, and every encounter. Let your heart recalibrate in His presence, for clarity flows from communion, not mere understanding. Next, take a careful look at the relationships surrounding you. Some connections may need forgiveness, not for their sake, but to release your own spirit from the chains of bitterness. Other relationships may require distance, not in judgment, but in wisdom, to preserve the sacred mission God has entrusted to you. Learn to discern the difference between love that strengthens and attachments that hinder. Reconnect with the dormant dreams and callings that have been waiting in silence. The delay you once questioned was not wasted. It was preparing the soil for your next season. Begin nurturing those visions now. Journal, meditate, and reflect on the nudges of the Spirit that have been whispering through your inner life. Each small step, each quiet obedience is prophetic. Finally, allow wisdom to guide your actions more than impulse courage to temper hesitation and patience to outlast distractions. This is not a season for hurried decisions, but for intentional, Spirit-led movement. Chosen one, the alignment that has been revealed is a pathway, and it requires your active participation. By walking deliberately in prayer, discernment, and purpose-driven discipline, you are not merely responding to revelation. You are co-laboring with heaven to build a life and mission that cannot be shaken. The next chapter awaits, and it will be written with clarity, courage, and divine strategy. Now, chosen one, you stand at the threshold. The door is opening. This is no random occurrence, no matter of chance, no alignment of circumstances that merely worked out. Heaven has orchestrated this moment with precision, and the timing is prophetic. Every delay, every unanswered question, every silent season you endured was shaping the soil, watering the seed, and preparing your heart for this exact hour. Step forward, not hesitantly, but with courage, for this door is not merely a passage. It is a divine invitation to participate in what heaven has already ordained. As you move toward it, sense the weight of God's presence enveloping you. This is the moment when revelation becomes activation, when what was hidden is brought into light, and what was delayed is suddenly released. The veil that separated understanding from action begins to lift, and clarity floods the spaces of uncertainty. Feel the Spirit urging your steps, for each one, taken in alignment with heaven, is reinforced by unseen forces. Angels surround prayers that were spoken for years, now converge with divine purpose, and the atmosphere itself shifts in response to obedience and faith. This threshold is also a sacred point of choice. You are invited to step through with intentionality, to bring forward the lessons of patience, the insights from waiting, and the resilience forged through trials. Nothing you have experienced is wasted. It forms the foundation for the breakthrough awaiting you. Let your heart open fully, receiving the courage, clarity, and boldness that God is pouring in this moment. Prepare now to enter into corporate prayer and spiritual sealing, knowing that your step through this door is part of a divine narrative far larger than personal understanding. This is prophetic timing. This is sacred movement. And this is your invitation to walk forward, fully embraced by heaven into the destiny prepared for you. As you step fully into this sacred hour, chosen one, let your heart open and your spirit rise. This is the time to lay every hidden burden, every wound, every act of betrayal, and every whisper of confusion at the feet of God. What has been concealed, what has caused pain in silence, is now exposed before Him, not to shame, but to heal. Lift it all in prayer, acknowledging that God sees what man could not, knows what hearts have hidden, and moves in the shadows with perfect justice. Let every scar, every quiet struggle, every tear shed in unseen seasons become an offering, a bridge to restoration, and a pathway to divine alignment. In this moment, invite God to mend the broken places, to cleanse hearts of bitterness, and to plant wisdom and discernment where deception once lingered. Ask for reconciliations that carry His hand and His timing, for connections that are meant to flourish, and for doors to open that were delayed only by divine preparation. Release those who sought to obstruct or misalign your path into His justice, knowing that vengeance belongs not to you, but to the Almighty, and that His ways are higher, His timing flawless, and His protection perfect. Declare now that your destiny is being reactivated, that opportunities long held in delay are now aligning, and that supernatural protection surrounds every step you take. Hear the whisper of heaven, affirming the chains that bound the confusion that clouded and the doors that remained closed are all yielding to the movement of God. Stand in faith and declare aloud, I receive the unveiling. I still believe in what God has prepared for me. Let this declaration mark the sealing of your spirit with courage, clarity, and alignment with the heavens. As this message draws to a close, rise with renewed confidence. Walk boldly, knowing that what was hidden is now illuminated, and what was delayed is now manifesting. Stay rooted in truth, remain attentive to heaven's voice, and embrace the shift that has already begun in your life. Subscribe and remain present for the next messages, for the journey continues, and your season of breakthrough is fully underway. The heavens are speaking, and you have been called to hear, to act, and to rise in alignment with the divine plan.